Hello there and a warm welcome to Superscreen's Midday News broadcasting to you live from Lagos. I am Adenike Owoye Ajiboye. President Muhammadu Buhari will travel to the United Kingdom, UK today. The senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, who disclosed this in a statement, described the president's trip as an official visit. Shehu said the president would be meeting with some persons, including the British Prime Minister Theresa May, ahead of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. President Buhari's trip is, however, coming more than 1 week ahead of the Chatham meeting, built for between April 18 and 20. The president will also meet the Chief Executive Officer of Royal Dutch plc, Ben van Belden, in connection with Shell and other partners' plan to invest $15 billion in Nigeria's oil industry. Nigeria will host leaders of World Health Organization (WHO) this week. According to a statement released by the body, Nigeria will host members of the Global Policy Group (GPG), which is made up of the Director General, Deputy Director General, 6 regional directors, and the Executive Director of the WHO Emergencies Program. The GPG members are expected to have a meeting from Tuesday to Thursday this week. The discussions will focus mainly on the World Health Organization's technical support to strengthen the country's health system in achieving sustainable development goals within the context of revitalization of universal health coverage. Senate President Bukola Saraki says the Senate has officially opposed President Muhammadu Buhari's decision to approve $1 billion for the purchase of security equipment. Saraki said this in Jos during a retreat organized by the Senate Press Corps with the theme Strengthening Executive-Legislature Relations. He noted that the president's approval is without recourse to the National Assembly.
The greatest challenge we have today in our country is security. And you all were there where in the Senate we organized a summit to try as much as possible to sit down with the executive and say, okay, what do you need? Because the challenge we have in security cannot be overcome by just regular issues or regular mundane administrative issues. A serious reform is required in the security sector. And it is an executive-legislative relationship that can drive that. Because there are 2 major issues. It has to do with reform either being in form of legislation or funding in the form of appropriation. So, there is no way that the security architecture of this country can drastically and significantly be addressed if there is no serious collaboration between the executive and the legislative arm of government. Where there's the issue of providing funding to for equipment in the fight against Boko Haram. In a good environment, by the time those kind of issues are out, everybody should be on the same page. But already there are some members of ours who have already taken positions. Why? Because they feel they were not consulted. So these are the kind of things that, and in the process of that, it makes the eventual goal of what you're trying to achieve more difficult.
The Senate President also spoke on several topical issues, including the alleged looters list released by the federal government and the delay in passage of the 2018 national budget, where he blamed the ministries, departments, and agencies. Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong, represented by the Deputy Governor Sani Gwande, stressed the need for the executive and legislative arm of government to work together to achieve greater results.
Where unhealthy friction exists in executive-legislative relations, the health of and functional democracy is threatened. To therefore engender good governance that will deliver the dividends of democracy to the citizenry, there is the need for collaborative synergy along constitutionally spelled out responsibilities for the executive and the legislature to deliver on their respective mandates. For us here on the plateau, the executive has a healthy relationship with the legislature, and this has allowed both arms to carry out their statutory functions for the good of the citizens of Plateau State.
Environment where you see someone in executive standing up and saying that the other arm is partner, because we are the partner of the executive. Somebody gets up and says he's partner, he's a thief, he's a looter, he's a... How? It's not possible. Let's be realistic. How? So, when you collaborate, you are collaborating for the bigger picture, which is the country that we all serve. And that is why, to me, strengthening that relationship is a very, very important responsibility that we must all have.
Senate President Bukola Saraki speaking there. Now moving on, the National Executive Committee of the All Progressives Congress, APC, will today at its meeting take a final decision on the tenure of the Oyegun-led National Working Committee. The NEC will review the decision it took in February. You will recall that the tenure of Oyegun and other NWC members of the party will come to an end on June 28, 2018. But NEC, at its meeting on February 27, 2018, approved a one-year tenure extension for the party officials. However, at its meeting on March 27, President Muhammadu Buhari opposed the tenure extension, saying it was illegal. Last week, the APC governors who initially supported the tenure extension backed Buhari's call for fresh congresses. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has accused the All Progressives Congress, APC, for ridiculing Nigeria's seat of power. In a statement issued by its National Publicity Secretary, Kola Ologbondiyan, the opposition party took a swipe at the ruling party over the recent visit of some northern Christian leaders to President Muhammadu Buhari. You will recall that President Buhari had met with the clergyman on Thursday last week in Abuja, where he denied the allegations that he is religiously biased as the leader of Africa's most populous nation. The PDP, however, alleged that the visit was state-managed to endorse the president and accused the presidency of procuring individuals who masqueraded as religious leaders. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike says one of the biggest achievements of his administration is eliminating upland and riverine dichotomy, which has plagued the state in the past. Wike, who disclosed this in an interview with a journalist in Port Harcourt, also said his administration has been able to promote unity in the state.
In this state before, all you see, all you hear, are so tribalized that this, you are from this upland, you are from this riverine, and so people were not doing things as if we were one rivers. So we believe that one way we must achieve, if we see ourselves as one, and once that is done, then we are moved to the next step. So today, I am concerned that that issue of upland and riverine is no longer necessary. We see ourselves as one river state.
The governor also noted that Rivers State has made tremendous progress in the last 3 years as a result of prioritizing project execution.
Our concern is to make sure that we use the economy, the potentials of the state for the greater interest of our people by turning around what we have or what we used to have. Our concern has always been, one, unite the state as it is today to making sure that River State takes its rightful position in the Committee of States in this country.
River State Governor Nyesom Wike speaking there. The former governor of Edo State, Adams Oshiomhole, has called on President Muhammadu Buhari-led federal government to adopt a ruthless measure against alleged looters of the nation's treasury. Oshiomhole, who disclosed this to journalists, described as mindless the stealing by the then People's Democratic Party (PDP)-led federal government. The former governor also said it was the right of Nigerians to know the level of rot in former President Goodluck Jonathan's government. Detained former National Security Advisor Sambo Dasuki has filed a fresh fundamental human rights suit before the Federal High Court in Abuja, demanding his unconditional release from the custody of the State Department Security Service (DSS). Dasuki, who has been detained by the SSS since December 29, 2015, also demanded 5 billion naira as general damages and compensation for the alleged violation of his rights. In his suits filed on March 15, 2018, the former NSA also urged the court to order the three respondents to the suit to tender public apology to him in two widely published newspapers for the violation of his human rights as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Secretary to the Government of Federation, Boss Mustafa, says some chief executive officers of government agencies are currently being probed for infractions of the Public Procurement Act. Mustafa disclosed this at the 2018 procurement retreat for chief executive officers of the federal government agencies in Abuja. The SGF, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary for General Services, Olusegun Adekunle, said the ICPC and the EFCC are currently investigating cases of infractions of the Public Procurement Act 2007 with the hope of punishing any civil servant found to have colluded with contractors to subvert the rules of the Act. The SGF also warned the CEOs of government agencies not to do business with any contractor who did not have the accreditation of the BPP, adding that compliance with the provisions of the Public Procurement Act 2007 is mandatory. A gunman have killed 5 persons and injured 3 others at Eden Village, a community in Bakin-Ladi local government area of Northern Plateau State. The Plateau Police spokesperson, Tena Chiopev, also disclosed this, said details about the victims would be made available later. Report, however, says the Commissioner for Economic Planning, Bulus Boat, and the Transition Committee Chairman of Bakin-Ladi, who both hail from the area, are on their way to the scene of the incident. The Special Forces of the Nigerian Air Force, NAF, in collaboration with some Nigerian Army troops, has successfully failed a suicide bombing attack by Boko Haram terrorists at the University of Maiduguri, Borno State last night. In a statement disclosed by its spokesman, Olatokunbo Adesoya, the Boko Haram suicide bombers tried to gain access into the university but were quickly detected by the NAF Special Forces. The vest on one of the suicide bombers was said to have been detonated before they could gain access into the hostel, leading to a commotion in the institution. You're still watching Superscreen's Media News. We'll take a short break here to bring you business news. Join us again. Well, it's so glad to have you back now in Business World. Two Nigerian banks, Access Bank and Guarantee Trust Bank, GTB, have paid a combined fee of over 96 million naira in 2017 for contravening various regulations put in place by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. The penalties were paid for various offences ranging from unutilized foreign exchange from CBN, a late rendition of returns, violations of guide on bank charges, among other infractions. A breakdown shows that during the year, while GTB paid about 18 million naira fines, Access Bank paid over 78 million naira to the regulatory agencies. The details of the payment are contained in the bank's financial returns submitted to the Nigerian Stock Exchange (NSE). The managing director, Dangote Construction Company, Ashif Juma, says the firm will complete the Obajana-Kaba Road in Kogi State by December. According to Juma, the project will be the longest concrete road in the country and will traverse the north and south. Juma also urged the government at all levels to switch over to concrete roads instead of asphalt, as such were far superior, durable and cheaper and would not require frequent maintenance. The firm also said that motorists traveling on the road had commended it for the initiative. To more business news, Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, has assigned duties to the newly appointed deputy governors who assumed duty on March 28. The acting director, Corporate Communications Department, CBN, Isaac Okorafor, who disclosed this in a statement today, said Aisha Ahmad was deployed to the Financial System Stability Directorate, while Edward Lemitek Adamu was assigned to Corporate Services. Emefiele also approved the deployment of Oku Nana from the Financial System Stability Directorate to the Economic Policy Directorate. According to Okorafor, the affected principal officers have since assumed duty in the new officers. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) says it has updated its outstanding audit of the group financial statements from 2011 to 2016. NNPC spokesman Udu Ungamadu, who discussed this in a statement in Abuja, said the audited backlog had since been approved by the board of the corporation in line with the laws governing its operations. Ungamadu also quoted Isiaka Abdulrazak, Chief Financial Officer, Group Executive Director, Finance and Accounts, NNPC, saying the presentation of the audited financial statement would help foster better relationship between the NNPC and stakeholders. Ungamadu said the management inherited a total of 65 unaudited financial statements for NNPC Group Corporate and its subsidiaries covering 2011 to 2014. If you've just joined us, you're watching Superscreen's Media News. We'll take another short break here, and when we return, bringing news on the foreign scene and then sports. Join us again.